Hello and welcome to Note to File, a clinical research podcast.
A collection of interviews, candid commentary, and general nonsense for the clinical research community.
Check us out at notetofilepodcast.com.
And now, without further ado, on to the show.
All right, guys. Hello. Welcome to another Note to File live. Denali, how's it going?
It's good. I feel like I've had an absolutely insane day trying to get caught back up from, Summit last week and all that, but I'm here. I'm here. How about you?
No, I'm good. I only got back yesterday from all the SOS stuff, which is what we're here to talk about today. And today, before we introduce them, I will say today is September 9th, and it is National Wiener Schnitzel Day.
Oh,
That's so German of you, Brad.
I know.
Technically, it's an Austrian dish.
I
Austrian. Okay, well,
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
good to know.
the Wiener part means Vienna. So,
Okay,
but
well,
yes, a big fan of food.
I
of
thought
the
you were about
area.
to pull one out.
Yeah, no, I was about to
Wow.
reach down here and pull out my Wiener Schnitzel. No, anyways, but I thought great. So get out there, eat some fried veal today if you can. But
if you can.
get out. Let's welcome our guests, Ashley and Monica. Guys, how's it going?
Hi. Good. Also catching up with everything. I feel like when events happen, it's always, you want to just hermit a little bit just to kind of recalibrate.
I mean, I feel that way when I attend events, let alone hosting events. That's something else. I mean, I watched you guys do the SOS conference last year, and that's a lot.
Yeah, it is. I do. At least at the conference, we took a whole, I think, 2-week break where we told everybody we'll reach out to you after 2 weeks. We need to just not talk for a while.
So you took a day then for this one?
Yeah, honestly, about I would say day and a half for sure. Yeah, but it's always hard to leave the team. Really, I was telling Monica when we say goodbyes. Well, obviously for me because I'm in Texas. It's really hard to say goodbyes because, when we're together, I feel like the energy just flows really naturally. And so many things come from it, good vibes, good feelings, ideas. So, yeah.
So I would love to know how this team got formed. How did
Monica,
the
do you wanna
SOS
take that
crew
one?
get formed?
Wow. That's the universe magic, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody kind of met in different ways, but then the pandemic kind of made it happen for the circle, and then Brad came along. So that's basically
I was a late
how it
arriver.
happened.
Yeah, I think the idea really spurred from Dan, Brad, and previous co-founder Dr. Daniel Fox. Really great idea about bringing sites together and making sure that they put the sites first and thinking more on the financial end. And ultimately, everybody would go to a bunch of conferences, and we just wanted to make sure that it was a good reflection of the ones that actually attend instead of making it, if it's actually a reflection of what we want to see and hear. And also, I think for the most part, almost everybody in the team is extremely laid back. And I feel like we wanted whatever we're doing to be like that, right? So I like to call it the Texas barbecue hangout. We do it every Sunday and super chill, and you just shoot the shit, right? And so that's kind of what we like to do, have this kinds of feels at these events.
I love that.
Yeah, and I could definitely. It felt that way, right? It was a lot of just mingling, walking around, talking, having a drink. There was some nice pizzas, food there, being served. I feel like it's a very sort of low pressure environment, and definitely will say because of that, the conversations I had tend to go a lot longer and get a little bit deeper than you do. When you're at a conference when there's whatever thousands of people, and you're like, oh, hold on, there's this guy over here, and you're getting pulled. It's really easy to get pulled in a lot of directions. So I really appreciate that there's the time and space to really get deep. And it was, I don't know, I had some great conversations with, I mean, both, you know, some of the sponsors of the event, and then, you know, some of the other just site people, and like talking about like actually getting into some of the details, like how you manage things at your site, which I think you don't always have time to do and like sort of delve into. But yeah, I'm kind of curious, you know, just to hear about your guys' two experiences, and especially, look, I will say, I'll be the first to admit, like you guys, Judy, Chris, do so much. You really do all of the work in putting these things together. I feel like, you know, I get to show up and mingle, but like props for all the work you guys are doing to put these things together. I know this was our second regional. It was in Irvine, but you know, tell me a little bit about, you know, what was your guys' takeaways, or how did you feel about how it went?
The first one.
Well, thank you. For me, I think it's just like you mentioned. It's more relaxed, and I think that's also our kind of our personalities too. That is more. It's creating more a community than it is like something professional, so stiff, so corporate. It's more relaxed. It's more inviting, and because of that it's less transactional, so people feel more connected, and everybody helps each other, including the sponsors. I don't know if you noticed, but they ended up taking pictures together, hugging together, and it's just like that.
All family.
Yeah, I mean, I thought something especially, again, unique or maybe a little distinct is like in the sponsor companies there, the vendors. I mean, they're a little bit, I feel like they're asking questions about sites. They're not trying to sell you something. Like I didn't feel it, like no one was trying to sell me anything, but they were asking questions about site workflows and like how, you know, what you would want to see. Like, again, it feels a little bit more like like a conversation, and they're actually trying to learn, not just show up and start selling you something that you probably, you know, debatably need. So it's just big, I don't know, I think it's a lot of advantage for both sides, right? Like they're getting all kinds of information and a little bit of, you know, sort of market research as to who they're dealing with. And then I don't know, in some ways it's interesting to hear like what can be done from the site. 'Cause, like, I mean, I met someone who I'm like, I'm going to follow up and try to work with this group. Like this is something I need to be utilizing for me at my site. So I guess in a way they did get me, but you know, not because they were trying to, because they were willing to have a conversation with me to like actually hear out what it is, because they're not competing with a exhibition hall full of companies all trying to sell you something. You know what I mean?
To be fair, like sales should always be that way. Too.
Yeah.
Like it should never be a like I'm gonna get you on the ground floor, fingers gun scenario. But that's just my perspective.
100%. I think the event was 5 hours long. I was personally very surprised that so many people stayed the entire 5 hours, and they got there extremely early compared to our first one. So I was caught. Well, I mean, we were caught off guard because I think we thought we had a little bit more time to set things up. So we prepared to show up. We were running around trying to get the music going and all of that. But it was great. There was I heard a lot of people talking about, you know, they're going to follow up with the sponsors. They really, you know, enjoyed them. There was a lot of business that I personally overheard that was getting situated, which is amazing. And my most favorite was that so many ideas came from site owners or site coordinators that were there that we are actually taking back with us. Like me, Monica, and Raul, you know, shout out to Monica because she hosted me while I was there. You know, we got back to speak a bunch of these ideas that came out that night. We weren't going to wait. We wanted it to be fresh in our minds, and we took that away. And those are honestly really the things that I love about these meetups is how many ideas get flown from the source to us and then going back and actually acting on them and not taking a different position as like, well, how does this benefit us? It's like, no, this is what they want. This more than like, this is what other sites want. We're going to just do it. And so I think that was great. And I really, you know, like you talked about the hangout, the best way for me to describe how it differentiates is that when I go to a conference, and, you know, I'm not saying that they're not beneficial. They're great. Even the corporate ones, you still take things away from them, right? But the difference for me is when I step into those rooms, I turn on my corporate self. I'm mindful about what I say. I'm mindful about my usage of words and all those things. And I can promise you at SOS, like you will hear me saying all sorts of, not so, things, but I mean, I don't, even though I'm around professionals, I am that comfortable enough to not care. And I immediately get close with everybody. And I make sure, everybody that's there with me feels close and passive to be themselves, even if that means that you're not as professional. And I think that that's fine because in the day-to-day life at the site, when you're really in the thick of it, you are family with your coworkers and that's how you act and that's how you talk. And so I love the fact that we've been able to kind of cultivate that feel with everybody, even when they're new and they've never met us before. It's really nice.
Yeah, I feel like something I kept hearing Dan say was, who do you trust more? I trust somebody with a drink in their hand more than I do with someone with a tie on,
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Zero question.
The thing is, too, that individual more than likely is also that way. It's just they're putting on their professional face. And the thing is, I think the end of the day is if you're doing business with each other or if you're trying to help each other, there's got to be a feel of trust and not just transactional. I like that it's not like that. Even at the big conference, how Dan, I thought it was awesome. He was doing a podcast and then, the whiskey tasters brought in their whiskey, they're promoting it and then everybody was taking shots together. And I mean, you don't have to necessarily drink to be a part of this group, obviously.
Of course.
But I feel like.
But it helps.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does. And I really love it though. It's nice and it doesn't feel like work, so that's what's great.
Well, and again, I think, go ahead, Moni.
No, please go ahead.
No, I mean, I think it was interesting. Even in a smaller event, I still felt like I spoke to more people who were directly at a site level than I do at a big event. I mean, again, we've said this again and again, like the big events are good. They're not catering much to the sites. And even if they are, it's like, a cheap commercial so-and-so at a big site or some kind of high-level program manager on an academic site, which are fine. Obviously, we need these people. But, like, I find when I go there, like, I'm talking a different language, than they are, even though we're both at sites. Like, it's a little bit of a different language. And so it was nice to talk to several people who I'm like, oh, you feel the same pain that I do. And, like, we're dealing with the same challenges. So yeah, I mean, I think that's just lacking in bigger events sometimes.
Well,
or if it's not, it's harder to find those people because there's just so many
people. But I think, you kind of mentioned when you talked about like even just like spinning up this concept of regional meetups, right? It's to bring the conferences to where the people are because the large conferences are so difficult for normal people to go to from a financial perspective, from a time perspective, just like to carve out the time to travel and to do the things and the budgeting to do it. And so having these more regional meetups seem to be really conducive for that, where you're going to get real people who maybe aren't able to do some of the coordinators that you guys mentioned, right? Like getting folks there to actually have those conversations and have that experience, I think is beneficial for everyone because it gives that experience.
Yeah. And I think the fact that
100%.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Regionals like the California, the next one's going to be Houston, Texas, for all of you guys that are in that region. That is super helpful. And I think the fact that initially the first one, we didn't limit it to just site professionals to come in for free, right? We allowed everybody to come, but I think, to be able to give that space to allow the person not to have to have general conversation and break it down, like, oh, so where are you from? And then, if you're only there really trying to connect with sites and you're like, okay, well, this is a vendor. How do I professionally remove myself from the conversation and go to where I need to go? I think this helps that. And the vendors that are there, again, very minimal, so that it's easy, again, to navigate. Because when you're at a bigger conference, you don't know who you're talking to. By the time you've gotten through like 10 people and maybe a majority of them are vendors or, corporate or whatever, you're already, gassed out. and you just don't want to keep moving. And at least that happens for me. I just kind of like, I'm just going to sit in and, go and take some swag and then jet, right? And so I think that's the majority of people. If you tax right off to go somewhere to a trip, here it's a good mixture of that. You go, but you're going to be in a room of just really the individuals you really want to speak to. So
I think another factor is that we give a space for everybody to present, like in the panels. So we have in the panels from study coordinators to corporate people. So it's like everyone has the opportunity to speak up and to show or to express the different challenges on the different perspectives, and that also opens up much more different conversations, and especially that the sites get very involved and they feel that they are being listened to, that the challenges are being worked, the challenges have been trying to bring the solutions, not just because we go a lot to the different conferences, we hear the same over and over again, even the same topics that are challenges, but then at the same time you go back and you just like back to square one, right? And the beauty of the conference is that we bring the actual people that is experiencing those challenges, like the clinical research coordinators, the site owners, the site director, people that do the recruitment. So they are the ones talking about those challenges, and they are also the ones bringing the solutions. So in the conference, we have fostered those conversations so much that a lot of great ideas have come up from the conference, like a lot of businesses, and we have seen many of them flourish. And so that's something that I really love about SOS, and I think that's the one of the biggest things that people love about SOS too.
Well, I was gonna say too, especially like it's not only giving people the opportunity to be part of the conversations, but also like in those large conferences where you have all those like leaders and stuff. Like, I mean, I generally run my mouth. I don't really care who's around, but I know everyone's not like that, and some people feel uncomfortable if like, hey, I don't know if I should be saying this. I don't know if I should have a seat at the table, and so it's. If folks aren't comfortable giving themselves, it's like almost giving people that seat at the table instead of like making them promote themselves to that position. So it helps give everyone voices regardless of, what their level is or whatever, and making sure everyone's on an equal playing field, which seems pretty cool.
Yeah, I think
Exactly.
making it a little less formal of an environment makes everyone more comfortable in speaking up. Because I mean, even I at these big things, I'm like, I want to ask a question. I'm like, there's like 200 people sitting around me. I might look like an idiot, or like nobody really understands because there's no other sites here. So if I say something, it may not even be well understood. So again, creating the right environment that, again, just gets people talking and feel comfortable talking. And again, that's where like I think some of the most compelling things have happened, when you're like somebody who would have never said anything says something like, oh shit, I never would have like thought of that. I'm glad they were comfortable enough to stand up and do that.
Yeah, and then just to say that, like me personally, my more favorite is the regionals. I like one-on-one personal. At the conference, after the first 4 hours, I'm already like gassed out. I don't want to really talk much, and it's more forceful rather than natural. So regionals is definitely my favorite, but because of what we've taken from the regionals, the layout and the formality of this next SOS conference is really going to be different because of that. And again, the connection and one-on-one, that's way more important. So for those of you that will be attending, stay tuned for what we'll be releasing. You'll definitely see a switch. It's going to be different than the previous layout, as well as what you see in other conferences for that reason, right? Because we're always, I think, trying to cater to how we feel, because I do think that we're a reflection of our audience, and we're always learning and things like that. And I feel that it helps to constantly change and get a fresh take on how we can learn and interact better in these conferences, and not necessarily just sit and be tuned out after so many hours. So, but yeah, the regional was amazing. Everything was really great. it was just no BS. It was straight like one-on-one friendship. Honestly, I met so many more people and got a lot of numbers and started texting people afterwards. That was really awesome. And just think it's going to grow a lot of new friendships and more day-to-day colleagues that we'll be communicating with more often. And I'm really excited for Houston. That's going to be in my state. And for those of you that are listening, please show up, because show up and shout.
So what are the details for the Houston one?
Well, we necessarily can't release that yet. But
What's the date?
Oh, the date. Yes. Let me get that. Is that December 6th, Moni? I think. Let me get that real quick. Hold on. Check my phone real fast. December 6th. It's on a Saturday. Again, from 2 p.m. Central to 7 p.m. Central. I mean, obviously, people stay longer than that, surprisingly. So it might extend, especially given the location. We'll be announcing that very soon.
Fun.
But yeah, it's going to be nice. I actually think it's going to be bigger than the one in Irvine. But we are capping it at 80 people. Again, we don't want it to get too crazy. We want it to be enough to where everybody can actually work the room and still feel cozy at the same time, right?
So if folks want to attend, what do they need to do?
Yeah, they need to reach out to us at hello@saveoursites.com. Follow us, obviously, on LinkedIn at Save Our Sites. Save Our Sites on LinkedIn. We'll be doing posts there. As of right now, if you guys want to get a feel for it, I mean, I understand that's something that I like to do before I, commit to any type of event. So we will be having videos, photos, and all of that stuff being showcased shortly throughout this week. And then obviously announcing more for Houston next week.
And shout out to Daniel Rodriguez, who does all your guys' AV, right? Because he's phenomenal.
This is awesome. He's part of the family. And because honestly, this really is a family. Like we say it all the time. And me, Monica, and Judy, we smother. We're telling you guys that earlier that, when we love hard. So definitely,
I love that
family, and we're happy to be working with each other.
I love that. I mean, I've always like standard believer of like, if you're going to do something, might as well go all in. Like, what's not worth doing it if you're not going to go hard. So I love that.
Exactly. And if there's any ideas out there from your followers that are listening right now or later, we are not the type that it's only in our group that make the decision. So we like to hear what you have to say. So if you have something that's super out there, I mean, the more out there, the better, to be quite honest. So reach out to us at hello@saveoursites.com, and we definitely want to consider all these ideas and try to make something that reflects the community and not what has been kind of laid out by corporate over the years. So.
And then you guys have the actual conference registrations open now, right? Early bird registrations open?
Oh yeah, for the SOS conference?
Yeah, the actual one in...
Yeah, early bird actually ends the end of this month on the 31st.
Okay, so register in the next month.
The 30th.
The 30th of September.
Yeah,
we're jacking that price up, so you
Yeah.
better get in.
Like Brad says, it's going to go $6,000 after.
6,000.
Oh man.
We're gonna have an SOS private jet by the end of this.
I know. I was gonna say we gotta go sailing. We gotta go sailing over there.
Get a boat. Go to Asia.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And so when is the conference? It's
gonna be
March.
Yes.
March 5th to the 7th.
Yes.
So March 5th night is going to be the pre-party, and then Friday the 6th the conference will start, continue to Saturday. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, and we're also taking again at hello@saveoursites.com. We're taking topic suggestions. We're taking potential speakers that would like to speak. If you have a voice and you've never been given the opportunity, reach out to us with a little bio and a photo. Again, our layout's going to be different this year, so pics will be semi-limited, but still we want to make sure we keep you in our contact list and be able to reference you. If it's not for this conference, it could be for the next one, or it could be for a regional. Options are limited lists. So
awesome.
Love it. I'm going to keep this one short. So any final thoughts, you guys, or anything else you're looking? I mean, obviously Houston is exciting.
Yes, Houston, and we actually having in mind something, a big surprise next year. Mm-hmm. That is going to be a surprise for you too.
Yes.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, lots of surprises, lots of ideas coming out of the woodworks, but more regional meetups to be announced. The next one, and the last one for this year is Houston, Texas. So reach out to us, you guys. We really want to make sure that you're there and get to enjoy and experience this, and see you there.
Beautiful. Love it, guys. All right. Denali, what have we got later this week?
We got a sticky notes on Thursday, 12 p.m. Central Time. So same time on Thursday. That will just be us. I don't know. No, we'll figure out what we're talking about probably, at 11 a.m. Central. So
Probably.
stay tuned.
Cool.
By the
All right.
way, absolutely love the intro. Oh my
Yes,
God.
the video.
So you.
I was surprised, Brad. I was surprised.
I take
feel
zero
that's
credit
an
for
in the
that.
window to you.
That's the only
so
contribution I have at this point.
It's
This podcast is I get to make a silly video at the beginning and put it in there. So it's
You
different
put all
every,
your heart in
every
that.
episode.
You can see
Love
you
it.
put your heart in that. So I love it.
Awesome. Ashley, Monica, thank you guys so much for coming on. And stay tuned for more SOS news. Follow Save Our Sites on LinkedIn. And we'll be back Thursday.
Awesome.
Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
you
Awesome.
guys.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Thank
Later.
you.
Thanks for listening to Note to File. We're committed to continuing to bring you independent and unfiltered coverage of the clinical trial industry.
We want to talk about what you want to hear. So if you have something on your mind, hit us up at notetofilepodcast.com.